He was the object of more hatred, more plots, more sheer murderous intent than perhaps any other figure in modern history. Adolf Hitler, leader of Nazi Germany. From the moment he seized power, and exponentially more so as his war machine consumed Europe, his life was forfeit in the eyes of millions. Allied commandos, resistance fighters, disillusioned generals, lone fanatics. The queue of potential assassins was long. Yet for 12 years, through countless rallies, perilous frontline visits, and secret conferences, he walked among dangers, seemingly untouchable. He survived numerous confirmed assassination attempts, including one that should, by all rights, have vaporized him. How? How did this architect of genocide, this focal point of global conflict, navigate a world baying for his blood? The answer isn't simple heroism or dumb luck, though luck certainly played its part. It lies in a meticulously crafted, multi-layered, and fanatically devoted system of protection. An iron ring forged in ideology and tempered by constant vigilance. The Führerschutz, the protection of the leader. Forget the lone wolf bodyguard trope. Hitler's safety depended on a complex, often overlapping, security apparatus. Today, we go inside that ring. We explore the daily routines, the high-tech methods, the near misses, and the men whose sole purpose was to stand between Adolf Hitler and death during the inferno of World War II. To understand the wartime machine, we glance back. Early Nazi street brawls saw rough protection from the SA stormtroopers, but Hitler craved absolute personal loyalty. This led to elite groups like the Stoßtruppe Adolf Hitler, bound only to him. As he rose, this formalized. The SS, born as his personal guard, grew monstrously, but protecting the Führer remained a core, delegated task. By World War II, two key organizations formed the backbone of his immediate security: the Reichssicherheitsdienst, the RSD, and the Führerbegleitkommando, the FBK. They were distinct, yet intertwined. Think of the RSD, led for most of its life by the dour SS Gruppenführer Johann Rattenhuber, as the high-level security police. These were professional detectives, Kripo officers integrated into the SS structure, but reporting directly to Hitler. Their job was proactive security. Before Hitler went anywhere, the RSD descended. They swept buildings for bombs, listening devices. They ran background checks on everyone: staff, visitors, even cooks and cleaners. They secured travel routes, investigated threats, maintained files on suspicious persons. They controlled access to wider headquarters zones like the Wolf's Lair or the Berghof, manning checkpoints, issuing passes. They were the planners, the investigators, the environment controllers. Less visible, perhaps, but utterly crucial. Then there was the FBK, the Führer Escort Command. These were the men you saw, the immediate physical shield, drawn exclusively from the elite Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler, Hitler's original SS bodyguard regiment turned Waffen-SS division. The FBK remained purely focused on close protection. Selection criteria were stringent: unwavering loyalty, imposing physical presence, adherence to the Nazi Aryan ideal, and often long-standing personal connections to Hitler. These were the Praetorian Guard of the Third Reich. The FBK went where Hitler went, always. During public events, they formed the tight human cordon, eyes constantly scanning the crowds, hands near pistols or submachine guns, ready for that flicker of threat. They drove his armored cars. His primary chauffeur, Erich Kempke, was a senior FBK man. They lived alongside him in his special train, the Führer Sonderzug. They flew with him, guarded by his personal pilot, Hans Bauer. They stood sentinel outside his private quarters, tasted his food, checked his rooms minutely before he entered, watched over him while he slept. Key figures like Heinz Linge, his valet and gatekeeper, and Otto Günsche, his personal adjutant, were FBK stalwarts, rarely more than a few steps away. For the FBK, this was beyond duty. It was a fanatical, almost religious devotion. So RSD handled the environment, FBK handled the man. While jurisdictional squabbles sometimes arose, particularly with SS head Himmler trying to exert control. Rattenhuber's direct line to Hitler and the sheer gravity of the task usually ensured cooperation. Failure simply wasn't conceivable. Let's immerse ourselves in their world. Consider a day at the Wolf's Lair, Hitler's forested fortress in East Prussia. Before dawn, FBK guards are already stationed outside Hitler's bedroom door within the Führer bunker. No one passes without clearance from Heinz Linge. When Hitler rises, often late, the food protocol kicks in. RSD oversees the vetted kitchen staff. Samples of his vegetarian meals and water are checked, sometimes tasted by designated personnel. Paranoia about poison is constant. If Hitler decides on his morning walk with his Alsatian Blondie, it's a major operation. RSD teams have already swept the designated paths within the inner zone, Zone 1, checking for disturbances, mines, anything unusual. FBK guards, maybe Günsche among them, walk within touching distance, scanning the trees, the bunkers, the sky. Further out, RSD and Wehrmacht sentries patrol perimeters, guard towers, man checkpoints between the security zones. There are multiple zones, concentric rings of security, each requiring specific passes. Even a general couldn't just wander into Zone 1. The military briefings, the Lagebesprechung, are focal points. Held in secure bunkers or barracks, entry is tightly controlled by RSD guards verifying passes. FBK men stand inside or just outside, watching the generals and staff officers gathered around the map table. While body searches weren't routine for top brass, an oversight exploited in 1944, vigilance is high. The room itself? Swept for bugs and bombs by the RSD beforehand. Travel magnified the danger exponentially. Hitler's Mercedes-Benz 770K Grosser Offener Tourenwagen were rolling safes. Thick armor plating, multi-layered bulletproof glass inches thick, reinforced floors. Erich Kemke, the FBK chauffeur, was trained for high-speed evasive driving. The convoy was a fearsome sight. Led cars with FBK sharpshooters, Hitler's car, often with him in the front. Follow cars bristling with FBK guards and automatic weapons, RSD cars coordinating security. Routes were planned by RSD, swept in advance, often lined by police or military, and frequently changed last minute to foil ambushes. Overpasses secured, manholes sealed. For longer trips, the Führer Sonderzug, his special train, was preferred. Codenamed America, then Brandenburg, it was a mobile fortress. Armored carriages, anti-aircraft guns mounted on flatbeds, sophisticated communications, quarters for Hitler and staff, and compartments packed with FBK and RSD guards. It ran on secret schedules, often on secondary lines, preceded by a pilot train checking the tracks. Stations en route were locked down by the RSD. Despite this suffocating security, there were breaches, moments when the iron ring almost broke. Before the war, Georg Elser's 1939 bomb in the Munich Bürgerbräukeller was a terrifying wake-up call. A lone carpenter, acting independently, planted a sophisticated time bomb intended to kill Hitler during his annual beer hall putsch speech. Only Hitler cutting his speech short and leaving minutes before detonation saved him. 8 others died. Elser was caught, and the incident forced security reviews. Site sweeps became almost forensic afterwards. But the ultimate test came from within. July 20th, 1944. Operation Valkyrie, high-ranking Wehrmacht officers, disgusted by the war and the regime's horrors, conspired to kill Hitler. Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, a war hero with regular access to briefings, carried the bomb. The location, the Wolf's Lair. Stauffenberg planned to detonate the bomb in the cramped concrete Führer bunker for maximum effect. But fate intervened. Due to the summer heat, the briefing was moved to a wooden barracks building, the Lagerbaracke, a less confined space. Stauffenberg, arriving late and hampered by his war injuries, managed to arm only one of the 2 explosive charges in his briefcase. He placed it under the heavy oak map table near Hitler and made his excuses. At 12:42 p.m., the bomb exploded. The wooden building was shattered. Smoke, debris, screams filled the air. 4 men were killed or fatally wounded, 20 others injured. Hitler, thrown across the room, eardrums blasted, trousers shredded, right arm badly bruised and temporarily paralyzed, back riddled with splinters, but alive. What saved him? The move to the less confined wooden building, the heavy oak table absorbing much of the blast, and crucially, moments before detonation, Colonel Heinz Brandt, wanting a better view of the map, had nudged Stauffenberg's briefcase further under the table, behind a thick table leg support, inadvertently shielding Hitler further. In the immediate, chaotic aftermath, the bodyguards reacted. FBK men and loyal officers present rushed to the stunned Führer, shielding him, assessing injuries, hustling him from the wreckage. While the bomb had bypassed the physical checks on Stauffenberg himself, the immediate reactive security functioned. Rattenhuber, head of the RSD, though injured himself, helped coordinate the lockdown and ensuing investigation. The plotters' subsequent failure to seize control in Berlin sealed their doom. The July 20th plot was the closest shave. It proved vulnerability to an inside threat. Luck, as much as security, had saved Hitler. Afterwards, paranoia reached fever pitch. Access became even tighter. Purges ripped through the military. As Germany collapsed in 1945, Hitler retreated to the Führer bunker deep beneath Berlin. The outer rings of security vanished as the Red Army closed in. Only the core remained: Rattenhuber, Linge, Günsche, Kempke, the last loyal FBK and RSD men, trapped underground with their disintegrating leader. Their final duty shifted from preserving his life to preserving his morbid legacy. Following his suicide, they carried out his last order, taking his and Eva Braun's bodies to the Chancellery Garden, dousing them with petrol laboriously procured by Kempke, and setting them alight. A final grim act of protection against capture. So the survival of Adolf Hitler through World War II wasn't down to one thing. It was the RSD's meticulous planning and investigation, the FBK's fanatical close protection and willingness to die, the ruthlessness of the Gestapo and SD in crushing potential threats early, advanced protective technology, Hitler's own unpredictable paranoia which often disrupted plots, and, undeniably, moments of extraordinary luck. The men guarding Hitler were undeniably effective in their task. They built a wall of vigilance, procedure, and force that proved incredibly difficult to breach. But their success served only to extend the lifespan of a regime built on death and destruction. The story of Hitler's bodyguards is a chilling look at the mechanics of dictatorial security, a testament to how loyalty, ideology, and fear can be weaponized to shield even the most monstrous figures from the consequences of their actions, at least for a time.